We came on the air today with the news that Deshaun Watson's 6-game suspension with no fine is now an 11-game suspension with a $5 million fine. And the league and the Browns, I think, kicking in $1 million each to send the fine money and their money towards groups fighting sexual assault and trying its best to prevent it. And I said I was hoping that there would be counseling included in this, and there is. And I didn't think Watson would speak today. I didn't think the Browns would speak today. I would just let this situation speak for itself. But, man, they just decided to speak now and I guess get it out of the way. It's the only reason why. It's just it's fresh now. Yeah. Get it out of the way. There's no reason to let this linger anymore. We've now officially turned the page. You hear that phrase all the time. It's about the future and turning the page. And before Watson's press conference, he put out a statement. And the statement reads, "I'm grateful that the disciplinary process has ended and extremely appreciative of the tremendous support I have received throughout my short time with the Browns organization. I apologize once again for any pain this situation has caused. I take accountability for the decisions I made. My focus going forward is on working to become the best version of myself on and off the field and supporting my teammates however possible while I'm away from the team. I'm excited about what the future holds for me in Cleveland." Statement from Deshaun Watson. "I take accountability for the decisions I made," referred to his world as a situation. Okay? But he's taking accountability. So now comes his appearance. See if you spot the difference between his written statement and this.
Stood on my innocence and always said that I've never assaulted anyone or disrespected anyone, and I'm continuing to stand on that. But at the same time, I have to continue to push forward with my life and my career. And for us to be able to move forward, I have to be able to take steps and put pride to the side. And I'm going to continue to stand on my innocence and keep pushing forward. And I've always, stood on not disrespecting or sexual assaulting anyone.
That doesn't sound like taking accountability for your action. I'm completely innocent. Just read everything. That's all I ask, is for everyone to read everything. I've tried my best to read everything. So the written version says I take accountability for my actions. And this one is I didn't disrespect anybody. We can sit here and argue about whether he sexually assaulted anybody. Because if he did, there should have been criminal charges, and there wasn't. Right. There's also the version of sexual assault that the independent judge, Sue L. Robinson, said was met. It just was nonviolent. And there's a lot of people whose world, where they are expert in battling sexual assault and violence, here's what nonviolent sexual assault, what's that? And if he didn't sexually assault anybody, then why in the NFL statement that came out today that announcing the suspension that Watson agreed to, does it say that the league and the NFL and the Browns are resulting in a $7 million donation to support the prevention of sexual misconduct and assault? So this situation in which women were impacted, using words that Watson's said, has led to a suspension and a fine that he agreed to, and his team spending money to help combat sexual assault. That's weird. And if he didn't think he was going to get suspended because he was innocent, then why would there be a contract on the table that only hits him in the pocket for the suspension for $600,000 and change? Because the way the contract was set up for his first year, most of it is free from being garnished in a suspension because of the way it was put onto paper. What did the Browns just suggest it? Out of the goodness of their heart? Listen, just in case, you look us in the eye and tell us we should trade for you and send all those draft picks and make all this money fully guaranteed, just in case maybe not. We're just going to, here's what we'll do. We'll just, to help you out, this is how much we love you, Deshaun, is we're going to make sure that any suspension that happens this year doesn't hit your money. Well, you know what? You don't have to do that because I'm innocent. I didn't disrespect anybody and didn't do anything untoward to anybody. Even though now when the suspension hits, I'm putting into a piece of paper that I take accountability for my actions. But when asked, you said you take accountability for your actions, but you say you're innocent, you'll say what you said to me. This just doesn't make sense. Let's be honest. And it certainly doesn't sound like somebody who, if you put up that NFL statement one more time, Commissioner Roger Goodell in that statement said the following: Deshaun is committed to doing the hard work on himself that is necessary for his return to the NFL. And mentioning that the settlement requires compliance with a professional evaluation and treatment plan for him. Why agree to that if you didn't do anything wrong? Well, because the NFL has just decided on a narrative, I guess. And they're going to just blow straight through the facts. Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, who bestowed this contract on Deshaun Watson, was asked about this disparity.
Jimmy, knowing what you know now, would you go back and do this all over again?
Absolutely.
Hey. So you have no qualms about making someone a questionable character in the face of your franchise?
Here's what I think is that I think in this country and hopefully in the world, people deserve second chances, okay? I really think that. And I struggle a little bit. Is he never supposed to play again? Is he never supposed to be part of society? Does he get no chance to rehabilitate himself? And that's what we're going to do, okay? And you can say, well, that's because he's a star quarterback. Well, of course. But if he was Joe Smith, boy, he wouldn't be on the headlines every day. So
my gosh.
We think people deserve a second chance. We gave Kareem Hunt a second chance, okay? And that's worked out pretty well, okay? We're hoping this will work out, and we have strong belief it will. That doesn't mean we don't have empathy for people affected, and we will continue to do so. But we strongly believe people deserve a second chance. We believe Deshaun Watson deserves a second chance.
And at least I give him credit for his honesty that he's a star quarterback, so he's going to look aside on giving him this chance that he wouldn't give to Joe Smith or whatever, or what have you. Yeah. Okay. And so at least I give him, kudos for being that honest, even though, oh my God, is that just beyond the last thing that should be said. But he did say it, and at least he's honest. Yeah, we're giving him that second chance, but he did point out they gave Kareem Hunt a second chance. I guess he's holding out on him right now, but long story short is no. People aren't saying Deshaun Watson doesn't deserve a second chance. It's people who deserve a second chance deserve it when they've admitted what they did the first time. And thus, people are more open to that second chance, even though we understand the second chance is being afforded to this person because of their immense talent. It's much easier for us as fans to buy it if we understand the person who's getting that second chance understands what the first chance blew up and that we feel they are deserving of their second chance because they're remorseful about the first chance being blown up. Thus, the follow-up about what about the disparity between saying in the statement written, I accept responsibility, and then the spoken word before that press conference with the Haslams and the general manager in which he said everything but.
Jimmy, what was the basis for saying in a statement the other day that Deshaun was remorseful when he continues to say he didn't do anything wrong? And then on top of that, Robinson said that she found that he showed no remorse or little remorse in her investigation and assessment of what happened.
So, Jake, what's the question?
What makes you say that he was remorseful?
Well, I mean, because we're around him every day, and he said he's remorseful.
He didn't say that until just the day of that Jacksonville.
You know, I think
Yeah.
I said it pretty well, is that this counseling is a process, and it's going to take some time for him, the layers and the layers upon getting there, and we feel like he's making progress, and with us, we have seen that.
Andrew,
And let me say one other thing, too. He was also involved in civil litigation during that time period, too, okay? And so a lot of what held Deshaun back was he was counseled by his attorneys not to say anything, okay?
Again, he's being very honest. I mean, he can't sit here and say remorse about something when it's going to cost him a ton of change. And Dee Haslam, the owner of the Browns as well, talking about, hey, it's a process. It's a process, which means she believes he should be more remorseful than he's saying.
And guilty of something.
And that he isn't remorseful enough yet. And I guess if this is a process that makes it even more ugly because he had legal problems hanging over his head. So let's put it all together. And the legal problems, I guess, there's still one suit out there. So he can't even today say the words that he put in his written statement. None of this makes sense. And, all of it is disappointing. And I can only hope, again, based on what I have read and what I believe, hopefully the counseling that is provided is something he takes seriously and that he comes back a better person, because he's coming back and he's going to quarterback the Cleveland Browns, and all Browns fans will have to figure out their feelings on this. And I can only imagine that when he does score touchdowns, a lot of the internal struggle will be external cheering. I get it. I totally understand that. And it'll be easier for all of us to do that if he comes back and can be able to look into a camera and say the words that he's written down, and that the rest of the Browns organization currently is spending their time and their reputation and their words trying to say for him.